What's up, everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Gwent, and today we're going to be playing more of the Irresistible Attraction seasonal event, which is an alternate game mode in which whenever we or our opponents play a non-spying unit, we will move a card of the same value from our opponent's side to our side of the playing field, to bring on the larceny. And today we're going to be playing a new Nilfgaard deck that I think is even stronger than the one that we tried recently, so let's take a look. So today we're going to be playing a Nilfgaard double cross deck, which means that we'll be able to play a card from our opponent's hand. And the objective of this deck is to create many copies of our opponent's cards, so that when we play them, we can swipe the original version of their card as well. And then we'll also flood our side of the playing field with a bunch of relatively simple, straightforward units that our opponent doesn't really care about stealing. So I'm going to flip through the deck here and stop to explain some of our cards that require some explanation. And Braathens is a good example of that because he can create a bronze disloyal unit from our starting deck. That will end up being the Duchess's Informant, which will create a copy of one of our opponent's bronze cards. And then, like we were saying, that means that we can, as long as that card hasn't been boosted already on our opponent's side, swipe that card as well. And Ivar Evil-Eye will swap his power with the power of an enemy unit. And so if our enemy has 2 units with the same amount of power, we can swap over to one of those units' power and then swipe the other one along with it. If we wait until we have only 2 cards in our hand, though, then we'll only deal 4 damage. However, even if that's what we end up doing, Ivar Evil-Eye will just have 4 base strength, and there are enough opposing cards that have 4 base strength that he's probably still going to end up stealing at least something. Then Dudu can transform into the base copy of an enemy unit, which means that as long as that unit hasn't already been boosted or damaged, in the process we should also steal that card. Then Rico, whenever our opponent plays a unit, will take on that unit's power, and therefore, as long as that unit hasn't been boosted or damaged, we can also swipe that unit with Rico. An experimental remedy is another way of us creating a copy of some of our opponent's bronze units, so as long as those units haven't been boosted or damaged, then we should be able to swipe them that way as well. Same idea with Imperial Diplomacy. May not necessarily get the chance to pick the specific cards that they already have out there, but we'll have enough options here that we can probably at least pick something that has the same base strength as something that they have out there. Next, we have Impera Brigade, which will flood our side of the playing field with a bunch of 4 strength units, which will make it harder for our opponent to steal the 4 strength units that they actually want to take, because these guys are not going to do anything special once they're already out on the playing field. Then Impera Enforcers is one of the most notable changes that we made between our previous deck and this one, because these guys will gain a charge every time an enemy unit gains spying, and because whenever a unit changes sides, it gains spying, these guys are going to get a ton of charges. The problem is, because these are 4 base strength, unless we can find a way to boost or even damage them, they're going to be pretty easy to steal, so that's where cards like the Imperial Brigades come in handy. Next, we have Hunting Pack. Same idea as Impera Brigade. Flood our side with 4 strength units. Next, we have Seditious Aristocrats, which when we play them will get boosted by 1 for every spying enemy unit. And again, because whenever our opponent steals one of our cards, it will gain the spying status. That means these could be a pretty big point slam. And then even once they're out there on the playing field, they will still gain 1 power whenever our opponents gain spying. Next, we have Daerlan Soldier, which will create a base copy of itself when we play it. It's 3 strength, so it's not quite as good at hiding some of the other cards that we want to hide, but it still means getting a bunch of units out there. Next, we have Duchess's Informant, and like I alluded to earlier, when we play this card, we will spawn and play a base copy of one of our opponent's bronze enemy units. So as long as that unit hasn't already been boosted or damaged, then we should be able to not only create a copy, but also steal a copy. So there's a look at the deck. It is similar to the Nilfgaard deck that we used recently. However, with Impera Enforcers and the Seditious Aristocrats, I would say this is a little bit of a higher risk, higher reward option, which, if all goes well, could be even stronger. Okay, so we'll go against a fellow Nilfgaard deck here, and we will go first. Okay, and I'm thinking we probably get rid of Experimental Remedy, because that may not have anything to swipe in round 1. And Impera Brigade, as long as we don't have another one, that's fine, and we don't right now. We do have 2 Hunting Packs, so we definitely want to get rid of one of you. And we get the other Imperial Brigade. Okay, no, we need to dump you. Get our other Enforcers. I think that's certainly a nice pickup. Okay, and for our first turn here, I think we might even want to throw out our Daerlan Soldiers. Get numerous 3 strength cards out there. That way, very unlikely that our opponent will be able to swipe both of them. Or alternatively, we could actually throw down an Impera Enforcers and then use our tactical advantage to boost it up and make it harder for our opponent to swipe it. I think we go that route. Because at 4 base strength, it is very easy to steal. But at 9, it's going to be quite tough to make that happen. And this guy's going to get a ton of charges whenever our opponents gain spying, giving us a lot of damage. Okay, Nausicaa Sergeant, 4 strength would normally be able to steal the Enforcers, but both of them being boosted, not this time. I think what we go for is now we go Impera Brigade, because we do have a soldier out there, so we'll get numerous cards out there. We'll swipe you in the process, and make it harder for you to swipe our cards, because we're going to start flooding our side. Does mean that we don't have anyone to damage right now, but I think that's fine, at least for the time being. Okay, they're going with Hunting Pack. We do have a status, so they will get that to trigger. They will swipe something in the process. And I actually did not really want you to swipe your Nausicaa Sergeant back, because that does have some long-term value, more so than the Imperial Brigades, and if you had stolen an Imperial Brigade, it would have gained Spying, because that's our starting card, whereas this was your starting card. So we cannot turn around and do the same thing to you that you just did to us by playing our Hunting Pack. Okay. So what we could do here is we could even play our other Impera Enforcers. It will have 4 strength, so it will steal something, but it will also be stealable, because it'll be 4 strength. So there are a bunch of cards that have that. So that might be a risk we're willing to take here. Either that or go Duchess's Informant and create a copy of something else that they have here, like maybe Nausicaa Sergeant, or if we do this, then you will have a unit that has a status, and so we could turn around and create a copy of Hunting Pack, which would be a little silly, though, with one in our hand, so maybe we don't go that route, after all. Let's go with Imperial Enforcers, and, yeah, we got a Hunting Pack, which is a little not as good as the Nausicaa Sergeant, so maybe we even deliberately damage the other Hunting Pack, or at least give it, yeah, let's hit it with both of our charges here. So that way, if we play more 4 strength cards, we're going to swipe you, not you, because we want you, not you. And Duchess's Informant means they can create a copy of something we have here, and it's likely to be a 4 strength card. But what will they steal is the real question. Now, we've put enough 4 strength cards out there that we're hoping it's not going to be one of our Enforcers, and it's not. So that's the benefit of having done that. They still don't actually have any cards with statuses on their side, which is a bit frustrating here. Means that still we have to wait on a Hunting Pack. We could go with Duchess's Informant now, and maybe create a copy of a Nausicaa Sergeant, because of the cards you have out here, this is probably still the best fit for us. Or I think our other alternative would be perhaps going with our Daerlan Soldiers and get some 3 strength units out there, which you may not have any of, so you might not even be able to steal these guys at all. So I'm just eyeing these and thinking, don't love any of the 4 strength cards that we would be stealing. They don't have any additional abilities once they're out in the playing field. So I think we do wait it out a little bit longer. Play you guys. Well, you do have a 3 strength card. In fact, you will do basically exactly the thing that we did. Create a copy of it. Now this has 6 provision costs, whereas the one that we have has 5, so I mean, ours is basically just a better version of what you have. But anyways, you do finally have a unit with spying, which means we can finally play our Hunting Pack. And it does mean that we are also finally getting more charges on our Enforcers here. I think we probably want to, if we could bump you down, that'd probably be preferable. Ideally, so that we could get you to the point where we could swipe you, although we do have a Yrden. In that case, I think we actually destroy this card that's already damaged on your side. That way, Geralt Yrden in the melee row is only doing us favors. Okay, go no Oneiromancy. See what you're thinking of taking here. Another 4 strength cards. They're going for the steals, but we have so many 4 strength cards out there that, well, unfortunately, they did manage to pick up the card that we really did not want them to steal. So I think what we do here is let's damage with our existing Imperial Enforcers, one of the 4 strength cards to bump it down to a 3. Then we'll go Duchess's Informant, create a copy of Imperial Enforcers, and try to steal this back. That's the plan. So I think we damage any one of you 3, because we'd like to steal you. If we get you, it's not the end of the world, so let's damage you. Do this. Make a copy of you. And that will give us more charges, to tell you the truth. We stole back Hunting Pack, which is not really what we want. We do potentially have more 4-strength cards, so I think we probably do want to keep on damaging the non-Impera Enforcers here. And get them down to the point where we could potentially get you down to a 3, although there's a non-zero chance that this will get boosted up on your next turn. And you're going Necromancy. You didn't have anything in your graveyard right now? Apparently you do. Oh, we did destroy Hunting Pack. That is right. So its deployability is not really going to do anything here, but you will swipe something. And, interestingly, you have, what, 3 spying units. You have Seditious Aristocrats, which will get boosted by 1 for every spying unit, which would mean it's a 7 when we play it. If we could damage you, then we could swipe you with Seditious Aristocrats, but we're not quite there. So I think, in that case, we might be looking at either Rico, or maybe even Ivar Evil-Eye and swipe power with you. Let's try Rico now, because we still have Yrden if we need use on this row, so I'd rather not resort to damaging you just yet. So let's give this a shot. And we did get the card we were looking for. That was the best one to seal for sure. And they're going to give it to us. So we did play one more card than them, but we'll take the round 1 victory and just immediately pass in round 2. Okay, so we're not thinking we're going to play anything in this round. We can just think long term, what do we want to have? And I think that means probably getting rid of you. Dudu's a nice pickup. I think we might want to stick with everything we have here. One exception would maybe be Imperial Diplomacy. We could say get something like Oneiromancy or Coup de Grace instead. That might be preferable, or even Braathens. So Duchess's Informant is fine, but we are definitely going to pass here because we're on 6 cards to their 7. So we'll force them to play something here. And don't go with Nilfgaardian Knight. Which is good to know that they have that, because that is a 7-strength card, which is a little unusual. So we're not necessarily safe, even at 7 strength. And, well, we drew into 2 of those cards. I was just saying we might want to have Oneiromancy and Coup de Grace. Experimental Remedy means we could swipe that card that we just saw them playing, the Nilfgaardian Knight. Or, I mean, we still don't have Braathens. We could, of course, Oneiromancy into that. Is probably our best option for doing this. But we could try to get greedy and try swapping something else into him. But I'm not necessarily sure I see anything here that I particularly want to get rid of. Because I think we should have plenty of options with Experimental Remedy. You have lots of bronze cards in your graveyard, so I think we stick with what we have here. Okay, oh, interesting, okay. Thrown out an Ulzer. And if we could steal you, that would be amazing. Because we have Oneiromancy, which will spawn in some pretty big units if we can get Ulzer on our side when we play that. So that's awfully tempting. Question is just, can we make that happen? Because 6 strength is a little bit of an awkward spot for us to try to find something. Nilfgaardian Knight, if we swiped you, we would boost you up in the process to an 8. We would still miss the mark slightly, but we could Dudu and actually get 2 Ulzers. Let's make it happen. Now, please don't, no, don't steal this card. I wanted to make 2 Keltulluses or something like that with Oneiromancy, but he'll take 1 here. And he will play a card from our hand, which is understandable, because if you did find a way to get a 6-strength card, then creating or swiping this Ulzer back would be big. But I don't think you're going to find a way to do that. I do wonder where you're going to end up with, because when you play your leader ability this early, then it is tough to get a specific card you're looking for, because, of course, you could get anything here. It's a wide range of options, whereas if you wait until later on, it is certainly much more certain as to what you're going to end up getting. Now, you did use Ivar Evil-Eye, which, I mean, was a basically 2-strength swap, not a huge deal, but it does mean that, at least as of right now, Ulzer at 4 strength is definitely easier for you to swipe than he was previously. That's a little bit concerning, but I think at the very least we could Oneiromancy, and then we might even Oneiromancy into another special card. Actually, does it have to be a spell? It needs to be a spell, not just any special card, right? So it can't be War Council or Imperial Diplomacy or Experimental Remedy. None of those are going to trigger anything else. So it's basically just Oneiromancy or bust here. So we're definitely doing it. And I suppose we'll go Braathens. And we did get Keltullus. Oh man, it's not in the melee row. So that means at least as of this moment, it's not doing anything. We'll do this, and then we don't really have a great card to create a copy of, but I suppose we'll steal your operative by creating another operative. The interesting thing is going to be if they steal Kaltullus and it ends up in the melee row in the process, then suddenly playing a Kaltullus game and everything changes. You're going Oneiromancy, so if there's a way to make it happen, this would be it. Oh, and you, yes, have an Ulcer, so that means you get Drog, was the one that you spawned in. Braathens will presumably mean that you'll do exactly what we did, and... Oh, except Braathens has 4 strength, yes, so like we were saying, easier to swipe Ulcer with that, and you do just that. But we can probably swipe this Ulcer back before you get the chance to do anything with it. I mean, we actually don't have any use for it going forward, because we don't have any spells left. But what we could actually do is, I'm thinking Dandelion is a 4 strength card that will swipe Ulcer, which at least stops you from using it going forward, which I have to imagine you have other ways in which you plan to put that to use. If we do that, we could even Coup de Grace, create a copy of Ulcer, but like I said, we actually don't have any serious reason to have it on our side other than just to deny it from them. So if we go Dandelion, swipe Ulcer, and then we see what we end up with here. Might go with... Do you have any good bronze units out there? I'm not even sure that you do. So let's go Imperial Diplomacy and just see what we end up with. And Experimental Remedy, we'll just play all the cards. We're just playing all the cards. And we're not going to have time to make it happen. So apparently we got Impera Brigade. And that is actually somewhat significant because now we have 3 4-strength cards. So if they want to try to swipe Ulcer back, there's only a 33% chance that they will manage to pull that off. Okay, they're going to use their Experimental Remedy. And use that to create Impera Enforcers, which is a card we would like to have back on our side. And he did manage to get Ulcer back. Okay, so I don't like that. I feel like we might have a creative use for Ivar Evil-Eye here. I mean, if we were to do it on Usurper General, then we have a 33% chance of getting this Ulcer back, which, again, if we think you're going to have other spells to use, then might not be a bad idea to swipe it. Alternatively, I mean, we could Coup de Grace and just create a copy of it, but we don't really want to introduce more Ulcers into this equation. So I think either we do that or we play Seditious Aristocrats and it would get boosted by 3, which would mean we'd swipe either Braathens or Drog. Let's do that, actually. And we got Braathens. Okay, I think we can live with that. Okay, and you're playing 4 base strength card. I mean, at this point, sure, you can steal stuff with 4 strength, but there's not really anything special that you're going to get out of it. And you thought by playing a 7 strength card that you would steal our Seditious Aristocrats. However, it got boosted before you could make that happen. So it did not. Oh, what? Ah, you stole Braathens, though. We would like to get him back. Yes. We could make it happen with Ivar Evil-Eye. It is possible. Still have Geralt Yrden. We could do, at the moment, to reset melee is looking like where we'd make it go off. Definitely don't want to do it in the range row right now. You're trying to, yeah, lower this to the point where it's easier to steal. But let's see. I mean, we could create a copy of Braathens with Coup de Grace, which is tempting. The other thing that I'm thinking of is using Duchess' Informant to create a copy of Impera Enforcers, but we can do that if we create a copy of Braathens by doing this. Where do we want you? Not sure it matters much. This, then this, then this, then this, then this, and swipe that. And now with our damage, is there anything in particular we want to do? I mean, if we could get rid of your armor to boost one of our cards by 3, I mean, that'd be kind of nice. Although at least short term, it's not really doing much for us. Is there anything we can get into range of us stealing? Sort of, but not really. Let's just hit something for the sake of hitting something, although we did actually want to do in the range row, come to think of it, because we were planning on resetting this, but still more time remaining for them to play other cards that get boosted, so I suppose we don't know for certain just yet. When they're going to play a card from our graveyard, a big card at that, what are they going for? Imperial Enforcers, okay. We can create another copy of them with Duchess' Informant, which means we can potentially swipe one of these back. And you've got Impera Brigade as the card that you stole, which is not a huge deal. So that's fine. I mean, if we could steal Usurper Officer. makes it so that you can't swipe your operative back. That'd be kind of nice, but at the same time, not really sure you're going to have room for it anyway. So it may not matter. Yeah, it seems they're making a committed effort to hit Seditious Aristocrats to the point where they can actually steal it, but at 8 strength, I think that's still just about impossible for them to pull that off. Now, if we were eyeing cards to steal, I think the answer is probably still we'd like to have Braathens, because he could continue to go up a little bit higher. But do you have any 5 strength cards that we could create a copy of with Duchess's Informant? I don't think so. We might just go for creating a copy of Impera Enforcers and try to make that happen. And at this point, I think we've flooded their side so much that they have little to no space. I think we do go with our leader ability here. And, okay, so they do have a 7 strength card in their hand, and they have some 7 strength cards on their side. So we could swipe one of those, and I like that a lot. Let's do it. Might take Drog, we will. And now, we could damage people. I don't have a lot of time to think about it, so we just want it in the range row, not melee. Oh, I didn't think we were going to have time for that last one, but we did. And they actually snuck in Sienna here, which I did not even realize they did. And that means they can double play their deployability on one of their cards. And we did just see everything in their hand, but in Experimental Remedy, they had the Ardfian Tortoise, neither of which, well, I suppose there's a chance you might get something with a deployability out of this, but I forget what the third card was. Just don't think they have much remaining with great deployability, so it may not matter much. Depends what they get with this, though. They didn't activate the order from Sienna, so it's not going to happen. A little late for that, although you will get the 2 damage when you play it. You did manage to steal an operative, which, well, I mean, you were going to steal it with your operative ability at some point anyway. Let's see. So now they are completely out of space, and we know they have one of these guys, so they can't play that right now. So we actually, in some ways, we don't want to steal one of their cards right now, because if we do, then they're suddenly going to have room to play stuff. So if we go Experimental Remedy, and we just take something from them, what would we like to take? Maybe Nilfgaardian Knight, and then we just boost something that's not actually going to be swipeable. I mean, well, we could go Usurper General. Wait, how do you get Usurper Officer and Usurper General? How'd that happen? I don't remember. That seems pretty silly. But let's actually swipe one of them, after all, because I think that's going to be a big enough play that's going to be worthwhile. So we do this, and then, well, could either be you or you that we end up stealing. It is you. And to tell you the truth, I mean, that gives them room in their row where they have Ulzer, which is definitely the place where they would have wanted to have the room. But I'm not sure they have any spells remaining at this point either. Okay, they are going to play the Tortoise, and that will swipe something, but they say it can't be done. We got him beat. Okay, so we'll go against Nilfgaard here. And they will go first. And as for our starting hand here, we only have 1 Imperial Brigade and only 1 Hunting Pack, so I like that, but we probably do want to get rid of Experimental Remedy in round 1. That's not ideal. Dudu's fine. Now, the Daerlan Soldiers are probably not one of our better cards, so we'll dump you. And they'll go with the Mastercrafted Spear, which is an interesting first turn play, because it's not a unit, so we can't steal it. Which does mean that our advantage of going second is a little bit lost. So what can we still make happen, though? Can Dudu transform into Mastercrafted Spear? No, I don't think so. So, I think we maybe do play the Daerlan Soldiers, because that way we are definitely getting 2 units out there. So it's unlikely they'll be able to steal both of them. And also, 3 strength is a little less common than 4 strength, which they almost certainly would be able to immediately steal. Well, they do have a 3 strength card. However, I don't believe we have any artifacts in our deck. So, your deployability is useless. Just swipe in a 3 strength card, which is not really a big play. So, now that you do have some units out there, though, we can start to do some stuffs. And we do have a soldier out there, which means that our Imperial Brigade, which I thought we had, yes we do, will now trigger its deployability, so I think we probably go that route here, because I don't love making a copy of this. So, let's get you out there. And just continue to flood. Okay, well, you'll do the same thing. Understandable. But we can swipe it back on our next turn. Using Hunting Pack to get more cards out of our deck, so I think that's probably what we're going to do here. And we'll take back that Impera Brigade, thank you very much. Okay, now you're going Nausicaa Sergeant, which is, of course, also 4 strength, so you will steal something. And you will boost him, but it is harder to catch him, which is fitting because this card actually does have some long-term value, more so than the Imperial Brigades and Hunting Packs that don't do anything once they're already out there. So, what I'm thinking is that we might want to start planning around trying to steal you with the Seditious Aristocrats. At the moment, if we were to play you, you'd get boosted by 2 for the 2 spying units, which would make you a 6, which is not enough. However, if we do Duchess's Informant, that would be at least 1 spy. We could even Braathens to swipe 1. Yeah, what if we Braathens here? That'll let us swipe 1 of your cards. Go Duchess's Informant, and create a copy of your Nausicaa Sergeant. It's not going to steal the Nausicaa Sergeant, because that's boosted up to a 9, but we'll at least steal your Impera Brigades. And that gives us a pretty big momentum swing. Now, you will start damaging Braathens, and this will certainly be the card that they want to try to steal. And with 5 strength out there, yeah, if they hit it with a Nilfgaardian Knight, it'll boost up to a 7. They will swipe it. That is unfortunate. However, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spying units out there, which means Seditious Aristocrats get up to an 8, which is close, but not quite where we want it to be just yet. It's just in between, swiping back either of you guys. So I think we probably do use Duchess's Informant here to do something similar to what we just did, and create another copy of you. And we will swipe Hunting Pack back. And we could even use Dudu to create another Braathens. Imperial Diplomacy, we'll see what they end up getting out of it. Probably a 4 strength unit, maybe even 5 to try to swipe this Nausicaa Sergeant. It'll be 4 strength. Now, who do they hit with their deploy ability? So we'll create a base copy of whatever you hit and put it at the top of our deck. Go with Impera Brigade, okay. So, I am tempted by using Dudu on Braathens here. However, let's just do a quick spy count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means, yes, we will get boosted up to an 8, which means we can, in steal Braathens right now. So I think we do that. I think we do that right now. And get you back. Okay, now you're hitting the Nausicaa Sergeant, which, I mean, getting it down to 4 strength does make it stealable, and it is the best of our 4 strength units to steal right now, but still, it's not a huge game changer if you do manage to pull that off. You'll go Duchess's Informant and probably make a copy of this. That you will. And they've lost connection here. I don't know if they have decided that enough is enough and they don't think they can catch us here, or if this is legitimately them disconnecting. Okay, and they actually forfeited there via disconnection. But I think what they saw was that even after having pulled off that last move there, they had gone a card down and were not able to catch us. So they said they couldn't do it. Okay, so we'll go against Nilfgaard here, and they will go first. And I think we have only 1 Impera Brigade and no Hunting Packs, so nothing that we absolutely must get rid of here, but I probably think we should get rid of an Experimental Remedy, because there may not be many cards in their graveyard in round 1. We did get 1 Hunting Pack, now we just can't get either that or Impera Brigade if we swap out another card, and would like to try to switch you out. And we got Dudu, okay, so we're fine. And they'll use their Impera Brigade, which is a little strange when they don't have any soldiers out there, because this deployability is not going to trigger, but okay. So we could use Impera Enforcers and swipe that card, but I don't really want Impera Enforcers changing hands, which it almost certainly will if we were to play it now. Problem is we don't really have any way of stopping that from happening, so I think we more or less have to just play it and fingers crossed that if they try to steal something here, they end up with the Impera Brigade and not the Enforcers. They will play a 4-strength card, so they're stealing something. And they did, in fact, steal the card that we wanted to keep. They will deal the damage. Stole our charge. Okay, so we can use our Imperial Brigade to summon the other one from our deck, because this was originally theirs. That is tempting, or we could also go with Hunting Pack for a similar effect here. I think there are enough soldiers out that I'm not terribly concerned about having to wait on Imperial Brigade, or at least playing it right now, I should say. So I think either way, either one of these should be fine. We actually should play in the range row to avoid Alba Pikeman, although we got it here. But it's in the range row, so we're not going to deal any damage with it, unfortunately. And Artorias Vigo will actually steal a card. Unusual for that to be the case, because there aren't too many cards with 2 strength out there, but then Viper Witcher Mentor is interesting because it only has 1 base strength to start off with, so you're not really getting any downside from creating a 1-strength copy of this card, but on deploy it got boosted up to a 5, which thankfully did not swipe anything else. So let's see, if we Imperial Brigade now, then we are actually guaranteed to swipe your Impera Enforcers, which is quite intriguing. I think we definitely give that a shot here, because I would like to have this back. Okay, oh, interesting. Damage. And actually, a reasonable amount of it. Not often you see damaging special cards in this seasonal event, because it's so strong to play units that you can steal your opponent's units. But, I mean, it was effective this time around. Let's see. What would we like to do now? I mean, our only real target for Coup de Grace would be, well, I mean, we could even do Artorias Vigo and swipe back our Imperial Brigade. Not really sure that's reason enough to go for it here, though you also get the chance to create a 1-power copy of a bronze suit from a starting deck, which there may be something to be said for adding that on as well. So why don't we give it a shot here? Take you out, throw you down, and then I was thinking that, yeah, if we could actually go Duchess's Informant, that is tempting. Seditious Aristocrats is also good. Get what strength the cards are that you have out there right now. Let's go Duchess's Informant. And create a copy of you, and we're just gonna see how much strength this ends up getting. It is exactly enough to swipe you, so turns out it worked quite well. And Rot Tosser has some poison and is also 5 strength, so you'll steal one of our mentors that we just created. Carcass, I mean, I'm not so sure how concerned we are about poison here. And you used your tactic on your mentor to get it up to 10 strength, which is unlikely for us to actually be able to swipe that. I mean, we could use Ivar Evil-Eye to swap strength with it and become a 10 strength unit. You'd become a 4 strength unit. We wouldn't steal it in the process, but that's maybe still worth doing. Alternatively, we could, again, go Dudu, turn into Viper Witcher Mentor, although actually we don't get the deployability when we do that, so we shouldn't do that. Now, Seditious Aristocrats would get boosted by 1, because there's 1 spying unit, which would make it a 5, so we'd steal the Rot Tosser. That's something. That might even be worth going for here. Let's give that a shot. And then let's lower you down a little bit in hopes of potentially getting the chance to steal you later on. And I mean, if you poison, certainly our 2 strength Imperial Brigade, not really concerned about that. 5 strength Viper Witcher Mentor's largely already done its thing. And you're going to give us the round 1 victory here on even cards, no less. So we'll take that for sure. Okay, so drew into round 2 of Coup de Grace. That's fine. Imperial Diplomacy can work. And Duchess's Informant, also not bad. Let's see, we have Oneiromancy. What would we use Oneiromancy to get? Possibly Yrden. Possibly Dandelion Poet. Possibly Braathens. Those are all things that we probably would like to have in our hand. Say, over something like Imperial Diplomacy. Or maybe even War Council. Imperial Enforcers, if we can hold on to them, are good. We got another Seditious Aristocrats, so not anything that I love playing first here, other than maybe Imperial Enforcers, and we just cross that you don't steal, although you're almost certainly going to make that happen, right? So, do we still go for it? suppose we have a decent amount of control over the strength of the next card we play between Rico, Dudu, even Oneiromancy and Duchess's Informant, so we can pretty safely swipe you back. Problem is, now we're not going to get the chance to use the charge on this to deal damage. When you steal it, you will still have that charge available to you, so you could turn around and damage us. I mean, you're not going to have anything to hit with that damage, I suppose. And yeah, you will steal it here. So now what I'm thinking is, what if we Oneiromancy into Dandelion Poet? That's a 4-strength card, so we'll swipe one of these guys, and then we play another 4-strength card of some variety to swipe the other. I think that could be an interesting play here. So let's go for it. Take you, and then, oh, to get Braathens is also quite nice. I think let's give that a shot for sure. Now, the problem is, order operations here. Are we going to swipe this card before we get the chance to play Duchess's Informant and create a copy of it? Yes, we are. So, tell you the truth, actually wasn't quite as good as it looked like it was going to be. We should have played a different 4-strength card, or just gone straight into Duchess's Informant rather than Braathens first, because, like I said, played him, he was 4-strength, so we swiped the only other remaining unit that our opponent had other than the Duchess's Informant, so the Duchess's Informant didn't have anything to create a copy of. You'll go Ox, which has 6 strength, which means you will swipe the Nausicaa Sergeant, and you might be about to lock Braathens, which is fine. He had some ability to grow going forward, but might actually prefer hanging on to Impera Enforcers' ability. Yeah, I think we can live with that. And Seditious Aristocrats, with 1 spy on the opposing side, is a 5-point play, which means if we were to damage one of you, say Nausicaa Sergeant, then we could guarantee the steal. It is tempting, or alternatively, we just go straight into Rico and steal one of you, although could be either, and we definitely would prefer the Nausicaa Sergeant, because Ox, you've already done your thing. So I think we do this. Hit you once, then play you, steal you, and then let's deal the damage to Ox now, in case this guy does get stolen next turn. Okay, now this is interesting. 5 strength. You'll get boosted whenever we boost someone. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Alright, so if we go Dudu on you, we have a 50-50 chance of either swiping you or swiping the Nausicaa Sergeant. Probably would prefer you, although to tell you the truth, it's not that bad if we do end up picking you instead. So let's give this a shot here. You need to be in the melee row, though. And, yep, we got one in the melee row, one not so much in the melee row, but I think we'll still take that. Because at least to steal it from our opponent is quite nice. And Serret has 5 strength, so you can steal something here. We have several 5-strength units. Oh, unfortunately, it was our melee version of this guy here, which does stink, because that was one that actually can get boosted going forward. This one is not going to. But we still have some ways to make this work. To swipe you back, we could either Imperial Enforcers on you to get you down to a 5, and then Rico, which means we'd swipe one of you two, we don't know which. Or we could Coup de Grace you to create an additional copy, and then we do have control over which row you end up in. It is tempting. I think we might actually want to go that route. Let's give this a shot. So definitely want you in the melee row. And we will take Serret, of course, because we did damage you in the process. And I suppose we'll hit you, yes. While we can, at least. Thirsty Dame is 4 strength, so you'll swipe something. That's probably the card that we least wanted you to steal. At least of the 4 strength cards. Dandelion's not doing anything anymore. Okay, they're using their leader ability. They're going to create a copy of Seditious Aristocrats. Now, I think what we do here is either we drop Rico and we hope that we don't get Ox, or we could actually go Ivar Evil-Eye, and his Adrenaline 2 ability will kick in, which I think is actually preferable on this occasion. Because we can use that to destroy one of the 4-strength units that we don't want, namely Hawks. So then we get one of these two, which both could be useful to us. So I think we try that here. Otherwise, we could create a copy of one of the 4-strength units, namely you. I think we'd go for this. Take you out. And we did get him, but he did go range row, unfortunately. Not where we wanted him. Okay. Damage unit by 3, which is not enough to actually destroy anything. Yeah, there's more of the damaging special cards, which I think are very hard to work those into your deck here. At this point, we can play Rico and swipe Impera Enforcers. That's actually guaranteed to work. Or similar story with Duchess's Informant, and then creating a copy of Impera Enforcers. So, we could even... What if we went Duchess's Informant and then made a copy of Seditious Aristocrats? You'd have 3 spies, which would boost Seditious Aristocrats by 3, getting up to a 7, which would not steal anything. So yeah, I suppose, in that case, we do this, and we go straight into picking you up, because we want to pull off the steal as well. And not really sure who we want to damage here. All these cards are equally decent for us to take. Let's just get everyone on a slightly different power level, so we have options going forward. Viper Witcher Mentor could get boosted by quite a lot with its adrenaline kicking in here. That it is. It is not enough for them to pass us here. Now, unfortunately, Rico, after you play this card, it does have a big deployability, but it technically is just base 1 strength, so Rico's only 1 strength. We will swipe a Duchess's Informant, but that's not saying much. I think we do go all in here, and, well, I mean, that's not going to be enough for you to pass us here. So we'll, I guess, just, like, the lock on you and boost you, and then play Rico, and it's not going to do much, but at this point, I don't think you're going to be able to pass us, because you have, what, a card that gives you 5 strength, and you've already used your leader ability? And there it is. But there you see it, we even get boosted in the process, so they absolutely cannot catch us. So there's a look at a new, and I think improved, Nilfgaard deck for the new Irresistible Attraction seasonal event. If you liked the video, then make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and leave a comment down below to let me know which other factions and which other cards you'd like us to experiment with going forward. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.